Here's number one, and this is deadly. In fact, you heard Colleen this morning say, right? 75% of the time, the salesperson who gets the deal first wins. A lot of the data says it's better to be first than to be best. So let me ask you, what position does it put you in when you're late to the party, when you're last to the opportunity? Where does that leave you? What are the consequences of that? Real loud. No deal, but why? You're playing catch up to whom? To your more proactive competitor salesperson who wasn't sitting on his butt waiting for a lead, wasn't doing the rain barrel thing, but was actually targeting accounts looking to get in there early. And what happens when you're late? What position does that put you in? Desperate, I like that. Why? Who's shaping the buying criteria? You don't want to be that guy. You don't want to be that gal. What happens when you lead with your product? What happens? What are you communicating? What are you shouting? Me, me, me. What else happens? They tune you out. What else? Say what? Commodity. Take my features and my price and put it on your little spreadsheet. And I don't give a rip about you and your needs and your challenges and your desired outcomes. Oh, no, no, no. This relationship, this conversation, this sales call is about me and my product. I'm going to yell at you, okay? Presenting is not a synonym for selling. And all you people in the tech world with your demo-first process, I want to kill you. Because you're killing yourself, okay? Discovery precedes presentation. Yes or no? Cannot tell you how many arguments I have with business owners in the tech space and marketing people and people who you feel like they're getting compensated for the number of demos that are being conducted, okay? When you present and you're in presentation mode before you do discovery, it is impossible to be viewed as a consultant and a value creator. You're going all in. You're putting all your chips on the table and you don't even really know what you're presenting. And the reason your demos suck is because you have nothing to tie them to, because you didn't build a relationship, you didn't learn, you didn't do discovery. Is that fair? You're doing what my friend Chip calls the spray and pray. You're just guessing. You're just hoping you hit on something. And I'm going to give you an analogy right now that is going to sound absolutely ridiculous to you, but I'm telling you, this is how many people sell, all right? Imagine something's wrong. You got a mysterious illness, you're not feeling good, you're not getting better, so you kind of work up the nerve to go see the doctor, and you make an appointment, and you're hanging out on that crinkly paper in the examining room forever. You know, it's probably a half hour, and the doctor's late, and you hate that feeling, and you're kind of nervous, and you're kind of uncomfortable. And the doctor walks in and opens the door and smiles at you, and for 10 minutes, she tells you all about her practice and her education and where she did her residency, right? And how wonderful a doctor she is. And about 10 minutes later, she pivots to talking about this new wonder drug from her favorite pharmaceutical company. And she talks about the clinical trials and the research and all the outcomes that this drug is creating. And she just kind of smiles at you. At the end, she pulls out the prescription pad and writes you a script for that drug. How would you react? Would you view that doctor as a consultant, as a trusted advisor? I'd run out of there as fast as humanly possible. You're dealing with a quack. Who writes a prescription without examining you or asking you a question? That's medical malpractice, yes? Prescription without diagnosis is malpractice. And in sales, presentation without discovery is malpractice. Don't do that. If you're highly relational and you're conflict averse, buckle up, because I'm going to push on you a little bit here. Let me go back to you guys. What am I communicating on this slide? What's the problem when we think we're going to win a deal scoring obedience points? And I see that. I see a lot of people, oh, no, I got to do exactly what they tell me. I don't want to upset them. Talk to me. When you go fetch because the prospect threw the stick across the yard because you want to be liked. What happens to you? They're in control. What else? You're definitely not differentiating. What else? Lose respect. No trust because. Yeah. There's no value creation. Do I need you if you're just an order taker? People, listen to me. We're not paid to do work. We're not paid to do proposals. And just because a client or a prospect asks you to come do a dog and pony show, because that's the process they laid out, or they ask you for a quote or proposal, does that mean it's the right time to do it or the right thing to do at all? Yes or no? No. Multiple times per week, I get a lead through my website, usually from some mid-level person, and it sounds something like this. We've read Mike's books. We'd love to have him come speak to our team or attend our meeting or do whatever. Can you please tell me what his availability is in November and what's his price? And I'm telling you, there's a large percent of the population of salespeople that would think the appropriate thing to do to that request is respond. That my assistant should open that email and write back, here are the 7 days in November Mike is not booked, and here is his very high freaking price. How much business do you think I would win if that's how I operated? I'm serious. About none. Aside from the fact I'm not doing anything to differentiate myself. What else am I communicating? You tell me, what am I communicating to the real buyer, the vice president of sales or the business owner or whoever the senior executive is, when I launch back a price and availability? What am I telling that person? It's more than about me. I don't even care if I'm a fit for you. How do I even know I'm the right person? What are your objectives in the meeting? I don't care. I'm a commodity. Here are my dates, and here's my price. If it works, bring me in. I think sometimes we get commoditized and we get treated like just the vendor or the supplier because we're really comfortable dealing with people whose job is to treat us like that. And we hang around at the low and mid levels of the organization, and we let people whose job is to take our last penny, right, and screw us down to run the relationship. And a lot of sellers have this artificial fear of going up higher into the customer organization, like something deadly or terrible is going to happen to you if you call on someone in an executive position. Let me tell you something. And those of you that call on high-level people, you know this. What do you typically find in the executive suite? What kind of people? Smarter, nicer, more professional, strategic people who are interested in solving big business issues. These are people who set budgets. They don't live with budgets. And when you have a great approach and a great message, you can talk about the outcomes that you create for your clients. Oh my gosh, everything changes. If I had $1 for every time a salesperson whined about pricing, my goodness, I'm so tired of salespeople whining. They come back from a sales call, boss, I need a deal. I do a lot of work in the manufacturing world that sells through dealerships. It's unbelievable. My dealership salespeople will go out on a sales call and they'll come back to, boss, I need a deal, and I need to call the factory because we need the factory to give us a deal so then you can give a deal, and well, we're not going to make any money on this one, but this is a price buyer. And then I'll get in a truck with one of those sales guys and watch him make a sales call or two, and you know what I learn? It's the salesperson who's insecure. They're the one who's bringing up price in the first place. You guys with me? And as far as I know, there is no union of professional sellers. But I'm a proud enough salesperson to tell you that if there was a union of professional sellers, I'm running for president, and I'm probably going to win. And the moment that I got elected to that position, I'm going to declare an edict that you are prohibited from ever complaining that your price is too high. On behalf of all the sellers in the world, and here's why you should never make that complaint. Number one, job security. The job of a professional seller is to justify the delta between our price and what our competitors are charging. Yes or no? If we had the lowest price piece of crap, we don't need salespeople, so don't ever complain our price is too high. All right? And number two, compensation. You people like your salary, you like your commission, you like your bonuses, you like your expense reimbursement. Where do you think that comes from? Margin. Don't ever complain.